It's Furlough Friday, 20, and we have some special guests, some actual. So we've been trying a long time to get people that are actually at the bottom of lists, and it's been tough. And it turns out we got two guys here that are bottom of their respective lists. We won't name names of airlines and all that. We don't have to get into that because we don't care. First of all, we're more concerned about how you're doing in your life and things like that. So Jason Shephard works for an airline, and so does Melvin Jefferson. We'll just leave it at that and get into some of your backgrounds and what we do here for Furlough Fridays. Again, kind of explaining just like a campfire, sitting around, bunch of guys catching up with a drink in hand and just talking little shop and talking a little shit. So we'll go around the horn here and see what everybody's drinking. We'll start with you, Melvin. What do you got?
Well, the wife opened some German Riesling earlier that I got a couple years ago, so we're just drinking Riesling tonight. But normally we'd be drinking bourbon.
A couple of years ago, so it's like aged now. Is that what?
I guess you could call it that.
Good stuff. The good stuff. Shep, what do you got?
Just for you, my friend, I opened a new bottle, Balvenie 12. Yeah.
Atta boy, double wood.
My
boy.
It is always in my cabinet. Always. There's always a Balvenie, a Macallan, one of those in my cabinet. Yeah.
Last time I was there, we weren't able to partake, but
yeah, you had to
next
like work or something.
I had to work or some silly simulator. Like who can't fly a sim drunk? Come on. I too have a little bourbon. It's my Woodford Reserve. I never leave home without it. Ooh. I'm just kidding. I don't drive with. Okay, maybe no.
Doesn't fit in the cup holder that well.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It's
odd.
Weird.
Yeah.
Try to jam
in between the seats is good. Yeah.
Clearly, you've done this before.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Tyler, what do you got there, buddy? I already know, but what do you got?
I'm drinking water tonight. I'm inside my bottle to throttle window, so.
Ooh.
You're inside of 50 feet?
Inside of 50 feet, yeah.
Oh man, golly, an airplane must be like right there. That's it's 12 hours no smoking, right?
I'm dipping instead.
Clearly, somebody's well into retirement. So I'll give you a little background. I'll give the background on Shep. So Shep and I are old college buddies. And we came up in the Air Force together. Been roommates, I don't know, 200, 300, 100 times. Who knows?
You disabled the screen share. I got a picture.
I don't need you.
Oh, hold
sharing.
on. I'll fix that. I will fix that.
Here we go. I don't need you sharing anything.
There we go. Problem
What's
solved.
wrong with you? Don't let him screen. See, this is why I like to take control of the controls. So shit like this doesn't happen.
Yeah,
he doesn't know how to do it anyway. He's gonna fuck this up anyway. So while he's trying to
please tell me
situation.
It's from Abercrombie and Fitch.
Oh my god! Every time
summer edition.
I have a story for that. I have so many stories.
Well, actually, this guy was around during those times. So.
I was. A girl actually came up to us in the mall. Where were we? Corpus? I don't even remember where we were. And Brandon, the sleeve monster had got him, right? So no sleeves on the shirt. This girl literally comes up and she says, can I just touch you? And she puts her hand on his arm.
Okay.
And then just walks away.
That didn't happen.
What?
He's so full of shit.
I mean,
I'll tell you what did happen when he and I were seniors in college. We were walking downtown Orlando, Florida, and so a group of girls were at least 100 yards away if they were 2 feet. And I hear this shrill of Shep screaming down. And I look at him. I'm like, are those girls calling your name? He's like, there's some freshman or something. I don't know. Let's go the other direction. Like he's running from freshmen downtown Orlando, Florida. We went to UCF. So hashtag Knights. Go Knights. I don't know.
Yeah. Charge on.
So there'll be little stories of that going throughout this, I'm sure.
I interrupted you. Sorry about that. Yeah.
As we start to remember stories about each other. We don't have to get too deep. I got a really good one about your wife.
Feel free to throw that picture up whenever.
It's not. It's asking me for my system preferences. I don't know why. I use this all the time, and it's.
That's okay. We'll be here a while. Take your time.
Yeah.
Go ahead, BA.
Yeah, your system preferences. You know what that's all about. You gotta change your search history. That's what it's trying to tell you.
This is my office. I work in here.
Right, your office. Yeah, sure. And Melvin, you come to us from a reputable source, a bunch of reputable sources, actually.
Oh boy.
My guy's talking some good stuff. So I go on the Book of Faces, right? And I was like, you know what? I know this guy from somewhere. So I started looking up. We got like 30 mutual friends. That's one thing. It almost feels like you become family when you know you have that many people in common, and just through the
Well,
aviation space.
don't be too mad at me. I turned down a reputable airline that you may be familiar with and went to another one.
Yeah, I know which one you're at. We got some buddies that are there too, and let's dive into that. So, where are you at with it, Melvin? I mean, are you
So
furloughed or?
I am fully furloughed. I have been for a few months now, actually. So uh, it's my second furlough. I was furloughed before at a previous airline, so not new to the game, but definitely under different circumstances now. My first furloughed, I wasn't ATP yet because that was before the 1,500-hour rule and ATP. So first officer, regional airline, changed companies, went to another airline, and that airline lost a contract, which caused about 60 or 70 of us to be furloughed. It was a pretty small company, so that was a huge hit, kind of the equivalency of what's going on right now. But long story short, that was a 7-month furlough, and being fresh into switching jobs and coming from the regionals, it was quite the hard hit on the savings, and quickly found my way to another local regional and flew there for a couple of months, but a lot of soul searching during that time. But the thankful part about that is that now during this furloughs, I don't want to use the word cakewalk, but it's definitely been a lot more relaxing and sitting back, just kind of enjoying the fruits of the labor and everything. And
Well, what do you attribute that to, though? Like, why is it a little bit more or less stressful, I guess?
Just with anything else in life, just life lessons. So the first time not really having a robust savings account, this time, having a savings account and stuff of that nature. And also knowing what to expect in terms of unemployment, what employers look for in terms of resumes and stuff, and not also needing to be employed. Thankfully, I have a spouse that covers the both of us income wise, and we don't live above our means. So we're actually able to save still every month and not tap into our savings. So that's a blessing.
So you married up, attaboy.
I married a smart woman.
There you go. Oh yeah. She's not gonna listen to this anyway, so it doesn't matter. We can talk shit.
Hey, I'd be okay being arm candy. Melvin's got the code cracked. He's just arm candy. I mean, gets to go fly. Yeah, that good on you.
That's nice. That's
all my friends started to say that. I started looking better once I got married. I don't know how that works out, but
What causes that? I say the same thing about Shep. He got married a long time ago, though. You should be beautiful by now.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't work. Yeah.
So you were a 777 captain too at that other airline, right?
I was.
So how does it feel to go like? Well, it's not really. So, but all right, it's not a downgrade. Maybe an aircraft, but you upgraded to a major airline.
I did. There were a lot of factors in play. The previous company was a very good company. I was super senior there, and I actually enjoyed the company. I enjoyed what I did. I didn't leave because I was miserable and was looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. It was more of a quality of life for my family going forward. I was engaged at the time, so planning a wedding, looking at kids in the future, and wanting to spend more time at home versus being on the road for an exuberant amount of days at a time. It was just the best move for having 30 years left in the career. Could have easily retired number one at the other airline for about 10 to 15 years and made decent money. Definitely was making a ton of money, but life isn't about what you make, it's about what you make of it. So for me, I want to create more memories with the family as we grow. So this was just the best move for everyone. So
nice. That's great. So you turned down some other airlines, and that's okay. We won't hold that against you. What made you decide to go? To be fair, I had
class dates at the same time, so it was a tough choice. So
yeah, but you still chose. I mean, you're on a different team than Shep and I. We'll just say that, and that's okay. I think I think in the rankings you're below us. But Who's counting? No, really.
Hey.
What made you decide to go that route? I guess. So when you had to rack and stack, what made you decide to go that route? And do you think it was the best choice based on what's happening now? I guess.
I would say initially on paper, the other airline looked a lot more attractive from long-term planning in terms of the finances of the airline, the direction of the airline, and also from a seniority progression and financial standpoint. Personally, for my family, look better. But when we looked at commuting for work,
So you don't commute?
I don't commute. I live in
Oh
base.
yeah.
And since my spouse is also an airline worker, it was like both of us don't need to be commuting. The wear and tear of the physiological aspect of commuting, we talked about that. And then being home based once we have kids and everything, guess who gets to be stay-at-home dad and work a couple trips.
Attaboy. Yeah. No,
Very
that's
nice.
Smart. No,
Yeah,
that's what it's
awesome.
all about.
Yeah.
I'm sure Shep can attest to that, trying to stay home with some kids. How many kids you got? Like 8 or something?
4.
Like that? They keep multiplying or something?
4. Yep. Yeah.
Are you sure you want to be home with them?
Christmas, working from home has been a brand new challenge, let me tell you. And so we had 2 girls, 11 and 12 now, and our boys are 3 and 4, but they were born 12 months and 12 days apart.
Have you ever heard of somebody having 2 sets of Irish twins? Have you ever heard that in your life?
7 years apart, needless to say.
And then those 2 sets are 7 years apart.
The Christmas markets in Germany are a magical time for the Shephard household. Let me tell you, we were in Germany for the last 6 years. So my wife likes the Glühwein and she likes the cold weather. So I was just a byproduct of whatever else was going on there.
Yeah, and G Unit definitely deserves a lot of Glühwein.
Oh yeah, yep, absolutely.
She loves this stuff. So here's a story about Gwen. Gwen's her name.
Wait, hold on. It finally worked. There we go.
Oh man,
there it is.
Look at that guy. Look at that guy.
Holy cow, man! That's when he had hair. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, Commander Costin.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Holy, okay? I said we looked at it. You can put that away now.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing. There you go. Yeah, you're lucky I didn't send the other one. I didn't have the other one.
Oh no, we don't need those. Tyler definitely does not need anything.
Yeah, Tyler, let me know your email. I got some photos from you.
Jesus.
Just to the text thread.
Absolutely. Yeah. Since 96, I think we met.
Yeah, college 96, spring 96, maybe.
Junior year. Yeah. Been a while.
Yeah, man.
So was he an aspiring Abercrombie model, or was he a retired Abercrombie model at that point?
Very much aspiring. Very much.
Wait, 96?
Oh, so you got
96. I didn't have the con 98. No, actually 97, 98. It was a fall and a spring.
But Brandon, yeah, I mean, he was shuffling and chucking and jiving, trying to make that thing work at the time, and it worked out.
I got to put myself through school, man.
Did he exploit that out at the bar that he was an Abercrombie model?
No, really?
So did he lead with it?
This guy.
The progression to hey, I'm a pilot just started.
Right. And so first of all, look at me. I never had to. Come on.
I don't. Yeah, right. So I don't know if I was the downfall or the epiphany of man. If I'm going to live with this guy again, I got to start drinking. His first drink was in the Mexican bar in Hyde Park in Tampa when we just moved there. You remember that? Yeah.
Well, so I didn't drink for a long time. So the listeners, I didn't drink
all through college.
I didn't start. Actually, my first drink was with you. That's right. And then even then, it was kind of sparse. I didn't really drink that much until.
So you've been playing catch up, huh?
Oh, he's probably been playing catch up. Yeah.
Oh God, right. I'm drunk every day. Kidding me? Especially the last 10 months. I haven't flown in 10 months.
Hey, really? You haven't flown in 10 months?
10 months.
Wow.
For those of and so Melvin, yours is a involuntary furlough, right?
Yes.
Like you didn't take like a leave or anything. You took a first, So we've got a bunch of folks taking voluntary outs, and I think that's what Shep's on. Yeah,
I'm on a 2-year leave
on that.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. But he can still get furloughed off of that if the shit hits the fan.
Wait, how long did you take? You say 2 years?
2 years. Yeah. Oh, wow. And I can opt for up to another year. if I choose to. And the only reason I did it is because I got another job with a company that I'm a defense contractor, basically back to the Air Force. So I'm making second year pay, working from home. And so we didn't have to move. So it's kind of the best of all. Yeah. Living in Denver, the only reason we came to Denver was because of the company. And it was a good choice, but now I'm questioning, why do we live here if I don't have to be here for the next 2-3 years? You know, I mean, I'm shoveling my driveway the other day and I'm like, man, Orlando sounds really nice this time of year.
You know what I didn't do? I didn't shovel snow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I bet you didn't.
It's a balmy 65, 70 here.
Right.
I was in the Keys this weekend. It was amazing.
Oh, whatever. You and your damn Keys. Yeah. Jeez. Get out of
Key
here.
Largo awaits. It calls for you.
Jeez. Yeah. You couldn't be outdone though. I had to bring the hat too.
Oh man.
Nice. I knew you.
This hat is older than all of us. This was my grandfather's hat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is dope.
Yeah. From when he was 20. So 1908. So he was, that hat was from the 30s.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in great shape too. I mean,
that is cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
What size is that?
More than just style. Don't be eyeing. Don't be eyeing. Don't be eyeing. Yeah.
I like what you got going on there. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, so you know what? That's a good point. Is that, well, the great story about where Shep's at now is that you used your network to get the job you have, right? Like, so
I did.
We talk a lot on the show about pivoting and how we've had to pivot, how we pivot, and yours is a great story in your network being your net worth, right? And that connection. Can you talk a little bit about that without, getting specific?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was retiring from the Air Force last year, I had kept in touch with a lot of buddies, and LinkedIn is a great asset. And I kept in touch with a lot of friends from LinkedIn. A buddy of mine reached out who had been with this company for a while, and he said, "Hey, we have positions open if you like to look, see what we have, all this stuff." And I'm like, I'm going to the airlines. I'm gonna be a fat airline guy and not worry about life, and and then the world turned upside down with coronavirus. So I will not say it was easy. I sent out probably 50 resumes, and each resume took a lot of work, 3 to 4 to 6 hours, and research and changing your resume, all that kind of stuff. So it was definitely hard, but the connections that I had made. So the guy that got me this job, he and I flew together 15 years ago. And we just kind of kept in touch, sparingly here and there. And he's a great guy, and he's done really well at this company. And with my experience in the Air Force, I thought it would be pretty easy to get a job. I was completely wrong. Not that I don't have a good resume. It's that the people that are looking to hire us at the mid-level age range, they want you to be able to plug and play. They want you to fit right in. So I live literally 10 minutes from the Lockheed Martin Waterton plant. And that's where they build the rockets. They have the International Docking Space Station there, the simulator for the space station there. I mean, my whole neighborhood is all Lockheed engineers. I could not get an interview. I couldn't get a call back from them with probably 15 applications in, because I don't have a space background. I don't have any.
Wow.
Yeah. So just because of a decent resume, it didn't get my foot in the door, even with internal recommendations. But with the company that I'm with now, I interviewed. I went through 4 different people of one interview, so it was like 4 hours. But my experience fit right into what they wanted. So it was an easy thing for them to say, yeah, he's the guy we're looking for because of his experience, his background, what he already knows, and then the contacts. So the making yourself a strong candidate for who they're looking for makes it a lot easier for them to say, yes, he is the absolute guy.
Wow.
Yeah. So
and a good point. And you eventually went that route, which is great. I think it was probably the most secure route, because what you were thinking also was potentially becoming an entrepreneur and going into business with yourself, with a fitness gym and things like that, which is awesome. And that kind of lends itself to saying, a lot of us that are in this position, if we are in this position, we have so much potential to do so many different things,
right?
Whether it be through the Air Force or whether it be through the civilian route. along the way, we've gained so many skills that
Mhm.
translate to the civilian side, and when I say civilian, I mean just non-aviation world.
Yeah.
All right, all the
Right.
things that we learn, even as the
Managers, operations,
yeah,
yeah, all that
management
stuff. Yeah.
shit, even down to like being on time,
Yeah.
like
Right.
stuff like that. Like those are the skills you need. So
Yeah.
you were going to be a gym owner for a minute, and
I
then
was. So that was kind of one of those clue birds that it pissed me off at the time, but now I look back on it, for about 3 or 4 months. You get all this paperwork and information. Oh, you're a VA, veteran, all this stuff. We've got money. We'll loan you all this stuff. Well, I went to a couple local banks, and they're like, you don't have any experience in owning a gym or working in a gym or health and fitness experience. We really can't loan you the money.
did you tell him? But just look at me. I'm a fucking specimen.
I'm
Have you
45
seen me
years old,
naked?
and body by Shep, right? Yeah, I
My
mean,
buddy
yeah,
was an Abercrombie model, and he worked out.
right. I know this stuff. I'm
trained
good.
him.
Yeah, yeah.
You son of
So
a-
the national guys would loan me the money. It was the local guys, and I wanted a local bank to stay local. Coloradans are crazy about local owned, local operated, all this stuff. I mean, it's almost as bad as Texas.
They want you to grow your own tomatoes and shit. They want you
Exactly. Grow your
in
own
your
weed.
backyard.
I mean, yeah,
Organically
Your own
sourced.
weed.
right. Yeah. So I wanted to stay local, and the local guys are the ones that kind of opened my eyes to that. So that was good. It was good to see and good to hear from somebody else, and be introspective enough to take that feedback and say, yeah, maybe, I know I'll be successful, but maybe they have a good point in that I'll struggle a lot harder and work a lot harder than I really want to at this stage, So I'm glad we didn't go that route. I'm glad we other opportunities opened up. So
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
Did you have any, Melvin? Did you have any like kind of big pivot points to where you end up doing something different? Are you starting any new businesses or?
Actually, looked into getting into rental properties. Um, my parents have some experience in that, and kind of always watched them and seen the success stories. So the wife and I looked at it, but the challenge right now is obviously being unemployed. Even though we have great credit and we have great savings, they want to see the monthly income coming in for the debt to income ratio. And even though
Really?
yeah, we're pretty much debt free outside of our mortgage and everything, but they still want to see, hey, what is your debt to income, and we need two incomes because you guys are first starting out. If we had a track record of 3 or more properties of either flipping or renting, 100% they would finance it. So that's kind of where we hit the brick wall. But once we're back on the employee track, that's still something that we want to get into and get that passive income and generational wealth start building. So
We were overseas for 6 years. We ran into the same issue because they not only want to see that, Melvin, they want to see at least 2 years of it, right? They want to see that long history at least of you being in the same house, working for the same company, having that income source for more than 2 years. We were out of the country for 6 years. I mean, that's a huge gap in your credit that they don't like. So yeah, interesting.
And then the other kind of crazy question is they look at the transition in income from my previous job to my furlough job, and they're like, well, why did you take this pay cut? And I'm like, well, trust me, I have good reasons. It's going to get back to that point, but I know this doesn't make sense, but trust me, it does. And they're like, I don't know. From a financial world standpoint, we're like, okay, guys, I get it. Am I approved? Am I not? What's the deal?
So I ran into a realtor that actually convinced his bank, he's a loan officer, convinced his bank that pilots should be in the same category as lawyers and doctors.
Absolutely.
Because lawyers and doctors have that same exact thing. They go to school for 10 years and then they work for 6 to 8 years, and then and they do a career jump. They open their own practice, or they get hired up by a big corporation or something, and their income almost doubles or triples, right?
So they're wondering, like, how the hell did that happen? What
right. And we should be in that same boat. We
absolutely.
So it's interesting to see, because the pilot shortage isn't going away.
No.
This is just a temporary hiccup. the worst ever hiccup
in
the
yeah, it's a big
history,
ass. It's
right?
one to make your
But-
chest bounce.
right, yeah.
But I mean, when you talk evolutionarily speaking, yeah, it's kind of it'll be a short a blip. But that's funny because if you get a guy, so I got a guy that was he specializes in lawyers, doctors, and aviators, like a lot of his real estate guy, and he's a real estate finance. He finds good rates and banks that will work with you based on those like kind of extraneous variables that a lot of these bankers just don't see. And he'll find, so he's basically kind of like not a loan shark, but I guess a headhunter for good loan rates. I don't know. And he said the same thing. Yeah, I know. I met him. He had a trench coat, nothing on underneath. It was weird. Had a bunch of watches in there. What the hell?
Talk about breaking
all the rates are good right now.
Yeah, they are.
They are. Yeah.
You know what I
free
was
money.
thinking, Melvin, is that for you to gain that, have you thought about like a syndication deal, working with some other folks that have that history, so you can just jump on with them, and then you can use them as a, later, I guess you can use them as a
So
clout, I guess.
kind of looked at that. We do have ways to do it, but it's one of those kind of, when you do a group project and one person's doing all the work, and you also have to be careful who your group members are. So that's kind of where we entertained the idea initially, and then we're like, you know what, this is not the path we want to go down. There are hard money lenders that we looked at, but again, that's another path that can get really convoluted. So
it's funny. That's the same thing that Tyler says about me, but that's fine. So here's a story. I got a story for you guys. I hope you're listening. I got to tell the story now because my drink number's 3, and this is 2.
Oh,
so yeah, you see where this is going. So I got to tell the story now before G Money gets mad at me. So essentially, Shep owes his life to me. I mean, is that he basically stole my wife.
I don't remember that. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Gwen actually should be married to me, but it just so happens that
you got too cocky after your centerfold.
No. So how does this go? And I think I even conferred with him. So during I guess it was select. We got to select where to go and shit. And Shep and I were together, and we get this thing comes down. I get to choose, and I'm looking, and it's either Alaska or Detroit, Michigan.
And it's me, you, and Jason Sanderson, right?
Yeah, Sandog,
3 of us, right? Sandog, yeah.
So Jason Sanderson, he played ball at the Air Force Academy, I guess during that tough time where they were really good back in the early 90s, right?
Yeah, they were. Just ask him.
Or late 90s. Yeah, just ask him.
He'll tell you they're good.
He invented the football, right? He's the one that made it oblong, right?
I love Sandog.
Oh, no, he's the one that put the laces in it.
Yeah. I would worry about talking smack about this, but I was watching a couple other of these, and there was like 25 people watching. So, Brent,
it's fine. Yeah, don't worry. Your career's not. Jason Sandog is not watching this. He's
25. We've got more viewers.
25. That is actually, I didn't know we were in double digits, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm like, well, fuck, I don't know what to do. I'm a city kid, so I'm thinking, I don't know. So I'm talking to my buddy Shep. He's my best bud. He's like, hey, what do you think? What do you want to do? I don't know. I don't want to go to Alaska.
Two Florida boys.
I will say,
two Florida boys.
Two Florida boys.
Yeah, right.
But I will say, I think it came down to I'm a city kid, and Shep really likes the outdoors. So we're like, fuck it, I'll go to Detroit. And then Shep was like, all right, fuck it, I'll go to Alaska. And as it happens, he goes to Alaska, meets this amazing young lady who eventually becomes his wife, and 4 kids later.
Keeps on giving, my Alaska souvenir. Does. Yep. Yeah.
Right.
My Alaska souvenir. Yeah.
You could have got a moose.
Exactly.
You got a wife instead.
That's pretty good trade-off right there.
So
she's not Inuit. She's not native. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She's actually quite the pedigree. Wasn't she like a she was a governor?
Yeah, she worked with a lieutenant governor. She was a speechwriter for Huckabee when we went to Arkansas, when we lived in Arkansas, and she was. She went to Gonzaga for music and English, and she was a speechwriter, and she worked in the lieutenant governor's office in Alaska for the faith-based and community initiatives program, and that's when we met. Her dad's retired Army, and she actually grew up in Fairbanks, so she's hardcore. Yeah, I mean, like,
She's no joke.
Yeah, Fairbanks is that's people should not live there when it's 30, 40 below, So
Been there a few times, and no, thank
it's
you.
rough. Yeah, exactly. It's a good place to. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous, especially certain times of the year. But
Yeah,
no
a quick
thanks.
layover, maybe.
Yeah.
Quick layover, maybe.
Right.
Summertime's nice there, but that
Summertime's
wintertime,
beautiful. Yeah. 11 o'clock at night, and you can still play a round of golf. Yeah, I mean, that's all right. I like it. But yeah, winters are they're brutal. So yes. So the saying in Alaska is the if you're a woman, the odds are good, but the goods are odd. It's a 7-to-1 ratio, women to men or men to women. So, pulling a wife out of Alaska, I mean, I'm not Brandon good looks, but I mean, still says to this day, you're too pretty for her. So, I mean, you started it.
Yeah. I want that tattooed to something. I don't know what, but I want it tattooed to something. That's an amazing. So we went over, if you ever watch, which you won't, but if you watch some of the other shows, we have Wagner Rules. And I think I may add the 11th Wagner Rule, and that might be it. That's funny. That's hilarious. No, so yeah, she's no slouch. You married up. I don't know. She just saw a pretty face in you. She thought arm candy, I think is what she thought. Is that what
Absolutely. It was? Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yep. Yeah.
She thought, he's going to make good kids.
Right. And her uncle is a pilot, was a Marine A4 pilot,
right.
and flew for, ended up retiring out of American, flew for, 30 years at the airlines. The one thing she said she would never do is marry a pilot.
Marry a pilot. I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the other thing she said she would do is never have kids 15 months apart. She has 2 younger sisters. They're all 15 months apart.
Yeah.
So we had our daughters 15 months apart, and then our boys 12 months. So yeah, I mean,
jeez,
whatever.
busy.
Number one rule is never say never, right?
Yeah, that's right. I keep telling her, say, I'm never gonna win the lottery. I'm never gonna own an airplane. I'm never gonna move to Bahamas. I'm never keep telling her.
I like how you just slipped that in there. Never gonna own an airplane.
Yeah. You see that? She's not stupid. She keeps. I know what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Exactly.
One of my best friends, his wife is the same way. She said, "I will never marry the brother of one of my best friends, and I will never marry a military guy." Well, Mark is C-17 guy, and he's the brother of her best friend. So
no way.
It's those nevers that get you.
It is, exactly. No absolutes in life, right?
Absolutely.
When you say never, you said never twice.
Yeah, it is true. It's true.
That's a hip hop lyric, by the way. I'm not gonna take credit for it.
That's
Talib Kweli, I think. I don't know. You can look it up. Anyway, so I told
you
that story.
Are on number 2. You are on number.
I know. 2. I'm telling you, I'm a lightweight. This is number 3. 3 is my drink number. It gets weird after that. I'm not even wearing pants. Can you believe that shit? No pants. You don't know that.
Yeah.
Well, you know it now, but you can't like see it unless I stood up. I'll stand up here. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Don't do that.
I'm gonna turn my screen off.
Yeah, we just lost like 8 viewers.
What are you talking about? It might be beautiful. It's not.
Shep did hit on something that was really pertinent earlier. Is LinkedIn really is. I'm not going to say that it hasn't always had a huge presence in the workforce, but right now is so pertinent to getting any job. In fact, I had to redo my entire LinkedIn because another buddy who is I guess you can say he's an amateur career coach. He looked at my LinkedIn and just said, "Bro, we need to redo this."
Yeah.
But it really has worked out well. Views have gone up, and actually your network starts just accumulating. It just takes off. So
yeah,
anybody that is listening that finds themselves furloughed or out of work in any type of career and thinking of changing or maybe even getting another job within their field, LinkedIn is definitely the place to be on a daily basis, not just a once a week, but constantly out there, researching and expanding your network.
There's a lot of people out there that will help you kind of build your LinkedIn profile and what to look for and what pages to follow and that kind of stuff. I connected with a guy, and he sent me a 7-page report of my LinkedIn profile. And I mean, each line had multiple paragraph or a couple paragraphs or one paragraph. Hey, work on this. This looks fine. Do this, that kind of stuff. Connect. If you've written anything, put that up there. So that is a huge resource that you can absolutely tap into. And then I think
his name. Does he have send me the link and I'll put it in the show notes. Definitely.
I will.
That's a great service.
Yeah. I
need it.
Yeah. We connected somehow, retiree veteran something or whatever. And,
sure.
But it was immensely helpful.
Did he charge for it?
He did not charge me, but he does normally charge. We're a friend of a friend, but he does normally
drop.
Charge for this. Yes, you can. Yeah.
Can I say I know exactly. Jason Shephard?
Yeah. Tell him Gwen Shephard, and you'll be good to go.
Shephard.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't use her name, dude. She's gonna want payment. I can't do that shit.
Right. Yeah.
Social media is like HR's best friend. They used to have to call contacts or references, and now it's let's see what kind of idiot we've got on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's see what this guy's posting.
Right.
Hey, I got a negative story about LinkedIn. It's bad. I applied, so I'm since I got the time, I'm applying for school and on this PhD track. It won't happen. I won't finish because I'm notoriously scatterbrained. But
I just won't ever call you Dr. Brandon. I'm sorry.
I won't either. I prefer you call me PhD Acosta.
Yeah.
Like that instead of doctor. I want it like PhD Acosta, like something crazy, like just the dumbest.
I'll call you Dr. Jill. How about that?
Even better. I dig it. So I go to on this interview for I won't name the name of the school, and it's in some Ivy League, pretentious pricks, and they go, we had a look on your or LinkedIn page, and there seems to be some discrepancies. I'm like, what's LinkedIn? I think I set up that page probably 10 years prior to this. Really, when LinkedIn first came out, I didn't even use my real name. It was like, this odd, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. I was like, well, yeah, they it doesn't look complete enough, so we're gonna need you to, like, really, to get in a post grad program or in a grad school into a program. Yeah, we're gonna need you to do that. I'm not gonna do that. So needless to say, I didn't get into that school. I did get into my alma mater though, so that's all that matters. But it's like important. It's like a big deal. I didn't realize, and since then I have changed it and try to, dazzle it up a little bit. But
companies are actually, the company I'm working for now, they actually offered an incentive for by teams to build up their LinkedIn profile to recruit other people and have more attention. It's an advertisement tool, a free advertisement tool for the company, right? So a guy got a $1,200 bonus for the year by having the most read articles on his LinkedIn page, because he would just link articles, and Simon Sinek's always doing talks and speeches and that kind of stuff. People would link it to their, so his whatever the metric that they used, his page was the most viewed by people external from the company, and it was he got a bonus because of it. So companies are interested in it. So the more that you can link and keep your network growing, the better it is.
What industry was that they put a certain level of importance on that?
Aerospace.
Okay.
Defense. Yeah. My side's defense, but aerospace in general. So the company I work for is defense and commercial aerospace. Yep.
Well, like you were saying before, Tyler, about HR, I think like it's a vetting process. It's an HR arm. Like, it's helping them out so much in getting the right people for the job. It's the people that they want to work next to. It's kind of how it used to be, old school, word of mouth for the airlines, is that you want to hire your buddies. You kind of walked in your resume. This is kind of the same, like the digital version of that.
Or you name drop during your interview, and your HR person or your pilot sitting across the table happens to know one Brandon Acosta, and you say, you name drop him, and I mean, it's all done. So
I won't say you're welcome, but you're welcome.
That was awesome.
Your
Yours
job,
was one of 3
your
names that I
wife.
dropped. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
What else has
Jason-
Brandon given you?
Jason Shephard owes me his whole life.
Airtime
just
on
want-
Furlough Friday.
All I wanted was your firstborn, dude. Jeez. She's a
my
cutie,
firstborn
too.
girl or boy? Because the
That's a good
girl right
point.
now,
You gotta-
you might be able to. Yeah. You got $5.
I might be. Yeah, here's the thing. No. I don't want another girl. I got a 16-year-old. I'm way ahead of you. Remember? Not cool.
Yeah.
We'll talk
yeah.
offline.
Right. Yeah.
It's different. Not that it's
It is.
not cool, because that's a double negative. It's that it's challenging.
Yes. Very.
The type of guys that we are,
Yep.
to have a daughter that is like a type B, artsy, just, and I know your girls are kind of that way too. They're very free spirited and into the arts. And for us to be able to
What do you mean you don't have a plan?
Yeah.
yeah, what
You have a test tomorrow, right? You have to study. Where's your
Yeah.
stuff? I mean,
did
Hey, cultivate that artistic personality, because that's where the
Yeah.
money's going to be at in 10, 15 years when AI takes over.
when AI takes over and takes all of our jobs, it's the
Mhm.
artsies that are going to really, be running the show. And I
so I
tried-
don't want to tell my oldest one this. She's really struggling with math right now, and her question to me the other day was, why the hell do I have to study algebra? I hate it. It's horrible. When am I ever going to use it? She's the one that wants to be a pilot. I didn't want to tell her. I'm like, I had to tell her. I'm like, I use it all the time when I fly.
Oh,
I mean,
you
you
lied.
gotta learn this stuff.
You
So-
lied to your
Because
child.
she's in 7th grade. You got to build that, building block. Like,
You
and
lied.
I'm just thinking, I'm like, you are going to be a great pilot. You are going to be awesome. Because she's smart, but she's lazy. That's all of us,
She's
right?
very
Is
smart.
that us or what?
That
I
is
mean,
us. We try to
Wake
do
me
the
up at top of
least
D.
top of descent. Just wake me up. We are
is that the speed break? What's going on?
We are highly capable, highly functional, lazy sons of bitches. I gotta tell you,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Ah,
Yeah, she's gonna fit right in. She's gonna do well. If she needs
Yes.
any mentors, Tyler and I got a girl down in actually I got her hired too at our unit. So Tyler and I used to fly together. That started an air club at USF.
nice.
At USF,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And her dad, so this is how this went down. This crazy story. Well, not that crazy, whatever. So I'm on a trip to Shanghai with this guy who's a little I'll say quirky. Good dude though. Just quirky as a captain. I'm like, what's wrong with this dude? So we get to talking. He's, oh yeah, I got this daughter. She's a USF cheerleader. I'm like, oh, well, you got my attention.
yeah.
He shows me pictures because I said, oh yeah, I own a CrossFit gym, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh yeah, my daughter does CrossFit and she's a USF cheerleader. So he shows me pictures. I'm like, oh, wow. Atta boy. I'm like, that came out of you? Oh,
So
okay.
that's real quick. Hold on. That's a weird thing. I flew with a captain. His daughter is a Denver Broncos cheerleader.
Oh, wow.
That's a weird thing when you're looking at the pictures with dad and you're like, how am I supposed to respond? How do I act right now? Okay. Yeah. I mean,
Hey,
it takes all you have.
Airdrop that picture.
Just make sure it's right before your break so you can look at it. But okay, I see.
Right. Yeah.
It
Okay.
got weird.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'll tell you this, and you know me well, Shep. I responded like I would.
Yeah.
3 months later, he's licking her toes on a party bus.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't know about toes with this guy then.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah, he does.
there's a-
Unfortunately, Tyler does.
There's a feet thing there that.
So anyway, fast forward.
People don't change.
She. So he tells me, oh yeah, she's a pilot. She's aspiring. I'm like, does she fly civilian? And he goes, she started a club, a flying club at USF. She started it. I'm like, how the hell she started? Oh, I bought her a plane. I'm like, you freaking rich captains. Okay, cool.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, is she looking to fly to get into airlines? What is she? And I was like, I kind of help with the hiring at our unit if she wants to get on in Tampa. Sure enough, she comes. And so I use this technically is my second hiring chit, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know what that really means, Melvin. It's like you get a golden ticket to hire whoever you want,
Okay.
and the squadron honors it.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So the squadron, as a brotherhood and sisterhood or whatever hood it's called now, I don't know, honors. Okay, this is your only one, but he or she better not be a pain in the ass.
Right.
Typically,
Because they
they're
feel
not.
like you vetted the person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So my probably greatest, well, and sort
She
of,
was
it
she
got
wasn't a
tarnished.
tough sell.
Not at all, because she's gorgeous. She really is a pretty girl, and she's a
Tyler was on the board. He's like, no,
Yeah.
it wasn't a
yeah.
tough stuff.
He was
Chew
like,
in.
yes. She barely had to rush the unit because it's kind of like a fraternity
Like a
sorority kind
fraternity
of
or
Yeah,
thing.
sorority,
she
yeah.
rushes and get her toes sucked. I mean, that's basically what happened. True story. Party bus. Disaster.
There's a story here. I'm sensing there's a story.
It was
There-
a
there is a story.
disaster.
We
It
don't
was a
know.
I have a feeling
disaster.
this is an offline
Oh,
story.
yeah, absolutely.
I don't
Yeah.
give a shit. You know, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know. Fortunately for her, it was kind of cool. So we pick her up. She gets hired, and I end up retiring right after that. And she
Well,
ends
hold
up.
on. Let's tell a little bit of a story. It's not
Okay.
that. It's not the party bus night. I think it was like the month prior, maybe. I don't know.
What?
We're all out ripping shots at a bar here in Tampa, and her mom, for whatever reason, was like in town, and it's getting late. It's like 11 o'clock at night, and we're gonna
That's
walk
right.
to the karaoke bar down the street.
That's right.
And it was time for her to go home. She lived in St. Pete or whatever. So her mom picks her up, and we wanted to ride to the karaoke bar. So like 5 of us like get in her little Volkswagen coupe, and there's like 4 people in the back seat.
Now,
Omar,
mind you,
one
she's
of our,
rushing. She's rushing.
she's
This girl's
rushing. Omar, it starts hitting on her mom as we're getting out at the next bar. And she's like, "Mom, can I stay?" And she's like, "No, you're going home." So the next day for her formal interview, they had her fill out a permission slip to join the unit.
That may or may not have been about me and one of the other guys' doings. I tell her dad this, and he's loving it. He couldn't believe the antics that we were doing for her, and like kind of, it's one of those things you want to welcome somebody in, and kind of this is the kind of the antics, whatever. But yeah, the permission slip was pretty tight. Like it was, like something straight out of like a school system, like a school board. It was hilarious that we had her sent, and she got it signed. Didn't she get it signed? Like her mom signed it.
Well, of course, at that point, why not?
I'm actually
Go with it.
surprised her mom
Yeah.
signed it after that night before, but
Dude, it was amazing. But here's the thing though, and her dad, to his credit, briefed the young lady that got hired, also briefed the mom, like, hey, this is the unit, that's how they welcome people in. You gotta. Now I know. So what I didn't tell you, Tyler, is that Jason Shephard was a squadron commander. So I know he would frown on active duty squadron commander at that. So I know he would frown on such antics, but
Only if I wasn't
is
invited. I mean, really? Come on. I mean,
I know the fruit. You don't change much. You can't change
no.
who you are. Your stripes
Exactly.
are their stripes.
Yeah, there's a reason that I didn't stay in past 20.
Yeah.
it only changes at the stage beyond the squadron commander level.
Oh,
Yeah.
it changes dramatically.
So
God,
speaking
man.
of, I am looking at getting back in.
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
So I will not have a chance to fly for the next 2 to 3 years.
So what? You already got the job. You don't need to fly.
Yeah, but I miss Herkin,
So do I. For the last 10 years,
right?
let it go.
I have the opportunity to maybe go. There's 2 different units that I could possibly join. One's in the reserves and one's in the guard.
With guard, but
Guard.
Where?
Guard.
In
Yeah.
What state?
Texas.
Well, that might be bad. That's not bad. That's
Fort
not
Worth
bad. I
just
was gonna
announced they
say
got-
if you're
they got
if you were
James.
gonna be way up north in the cold, don't do it. But
No,
Texas, that's not so bad.
Yeah. DFW or Navy Fort Worth unit just announced they got J models, and a buddy of mine's a squadron commander. So
Those are gunships, right?
No, they're just
No.
slicks. Yeah, they got legacy.
They were the new ones, the new
Yeah,
props, the
the
J
new
model.
J models. Yep. Yeah. So Herbie in Pensacola, they have the gunships that are coming.
Yeah,
in.
they got the guns, ACs.
Yep. Yeah. That airplane is going to be amazing.
Oh.
The AC 130J that's going to replace the U-boats and the
Nice.
the H's is just, I mean, the weapons that they're going to put on that thing are just, it's already not fair with a 105 hanging out of the side of that thing and a 20 Mike, but it's going to be really just ridiculous.
Well, you remember, if you remember correctly, when we first got in the Hurt business, because you and I both flew Hurts, right?
Yep.
When we first got in the Hurt business, the U-boat was the new one.
Mm-hmm.
We had guys just getting to that, and they're like, oh, that'd be kind of cool, pressurized, blah, blah, blah. Now we're onto this J model monstrosity that, I mean, they just don't have a chance.
They really don't.
They really
don't. It's not good. Fair to, for the enemies that we have to have air dominance though. I mean, you can't put that thing in any kind of airspace that we don't have absolute, not just air superiority, but air dominance. We have to control.
Problem.
True. I mean,
I don't like to brag, but
yeah, the near peer thing, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
Next proxy war that we go to, who knows?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So the wars are being fought through
I just know going into Ramstein, you guys used to always clog up the pattern, and we have to slow down coming in because it's like, oh yeah, we got 3 Hercs in the pattern. And you're like, are you kidding me? I just came off a 9-hour flight, and I gotta wait for 3 Hercs in the pattern.
Right. In our response, so I was the squadron commander for the air traffic controllers. So my response to the air traffic controllers will always be, let us know where they are. We'll join up on their wing. I mean, it's not a big deal. They're okay with it. I mean, 1,000-foot separation, unless we brief and then it's 500, we're good. And I know they're good with it. So it's so comical. The way ATC operates and compared to, I mean, but that's again the flying versus non-flying world that you see, and you measure it with a micrometer and cut it with an axe. Is kind of the way we operate. We just make things happen, and on a daily basis we're dealing with hundreds of things that could go wrong, and you just make it right because of your experience and how you've been trained. And I mean, that's the pilot thing. And when you see people that don't make it or can't handle it all or don't make it, I mean, there's a reason for that, and you feel bad for them, but you want to protect what is most important, and that's everyone's lives and the pilot responsibility and everything that we go through. So there's a reason for that. So
holy shit, you sound like a real commander. My God.
Who
is this guy?
Hold on, let me turn that
Jason motherfucking Shephard is a commander. What, dude? You got me like, I want to say the. Can I say the Pledge of Allegiance? I want to say the
not
Pledge
anymore.
Of
Not
right
anymore.
Now.
No. Yeah. So
I want to sing the national anthem.
So I do have to tell you, and anybody that's listening, the last year of my life has been the hardest of Gwen and I's married life because we got out of the Air Force, and I say that with all she almost died on me twice. We've had a lot of challenges, a lot of things. I still would have gotten out of the Air Force at the time that I did. I mean, who gets out of the Air Force in the world's worst pandemic since the Spanish flu? I mean, who does that? But yeah, I mean, I still would have made that same choice because I got with a major airline when I did, and I didn't have to put my family through all of the stuff that the Air Force was going to ask us to do. So it was still the right choice for my family. So, it's a fine balance. And I would say, if you have a way to continue to serve and continue to fly, the Guard and Reserve are a great way. And I would have done that day one, separating from the Air Force. I would have had a Guard unit or a Reserve unit lined up. I wouldn't have had to break in. Yep, the Guard. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm running away from the Reserves as fast as I fucking can right now.
Yeah, you and me both. I was in the Guard. I did all 3. So I was active duty, went to the Guard, then the Reserves. Guard, hands down. But they've even said it's changed. Our old unit up.
So you can't keep a job. You just can't keep a job.
Absolutely not. Yeah, they keep trying to put me at a desk, and I'm like, Brandon doesn't do that. That's when I start thinking
I'm flying.
I start talking in a third person when they try to do shit like that. Yeah, we're gonna need you to do this extra duty. Brandon doesn't do that.
Oh, that's 3 drink. Brandon does the third person.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, man, look at that. It's getting low. Well, hey, Shep, I had you a job when I first came out. You could have gotten out. I think you chose wisely.
True, very true. Because the Air
In
Force,
hindsight,
they're
crazy.
smart. They're very smart. Active duty smart. They hung that little that carrot in front of me and said, you can go to the J model now in the schoolhouse and not deploy for 3 years, and you'll be in the brand new airplane, not deploy, and then the next step is up to you. They were smart.
Yeah.
I mean, why would I? So that was 2008. The first
Yeah.
crash, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this
Oh,
airline
yeah.
business is cyclical, right? So 2008, 2009, the first crash, the stock market, the economy. So a buddy of mine who was 6 months ahead of me was the last class to get hired by Southwest. Southwest came back and told him, you're hired. We're not going to send you through training for the next 2.5 years. Go find something to do. You know, so I was 6 months behind him, and getting out in the Air Force. I'm like, I don't think that's smart for me to do with the baby and one on the way.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy though. It's hindsight, man. We looking at it now, you've made the absolute correct decision. Like, isn't it crazy? Like, you have a retirement. At least you, if nothing else, if all else fails, you have a retirement pension coming in from active duty military.
Right.
Coming in, checks in the mail. So had you done that, I mean, you would be, I guess, my seniority, but you'd be sitting at home, I guess, hanging out like I'm doing. I don't know, doing podcasts and stuff. I mean, granted, I'm still getting paid by the grace of God, but we did take a hit.
We did. Yeah, absolutely. The airlines did. And the last 10 years of my career were not near as much fun as the first 10 years, even though we were deploying Iraq, Afghanistan, and all that stuff. Right.
Oh, yeah.
But the deployments were fun up until a point. The last 10 years became a lot more work with staff and school and, command, which was great, awesome opportunity. And I got to give back, and that's what I really wanted to do. And I loved it. And you're right, things worked out. It was a great path for me. But it doesn't always work out that way for everyone. But what I would say is, if you have the ability to have options, keep those options open, and don't ever burn those bridges. Don't ever shut doors. And that's what I did in the Air Force. I never knew that I was going to be a squadron commander. You never know until, no kidding, you're sitting in the seat.
I knew.
I've got some stories from you for a guy who's a 3-star now. It would end up being a 4-star, that he was holding me by the, short curlies, like, you are. I mean, I was not his guy, but
hey, when you were in LT with BA, like, where did you think BA was going to be in 20 years?
In jail. In Leavenworth. He definitely thought I would have gotten kicked out with an Article 15. Look at me, Shep. No Article 15. Now, there were some close causes. I will close.
Yeah, you almost got one for some pirate socks.
I did.
Not surprising. Not surprising. I think that the captains at our level, Jeff Kuntz.
Oh, yeah.
Guys like that, Kunzi, guys like that weren't afraid to call us out for who we were, without us really understanding the Air Force and the military. Did more for us understanding where we fit in the big, because Kunzi is actually the one that said, Brandon, go to that guard unit. Take that guard deal.
He did. He kind of gave me some, because he knew me.
Yeah.
He knew the kind of guy that I probably was. Right. And I wasn't going to do well in the active duty,
taking a bunch of
white North
shit from, yeah, right. Man. I mean,
you were always at the top of my list to go TDY with, though.
Then there's that. See, there's different lists, is what we're trying to tell you, Melvin.
Melvin, real quick, you said you had your wife's a pilot too?
No, she's actually flight attendant for another major airline that I'll leave nameless. But
okay.
She's in the.
But you said you had your the only thing you have is your house payment, right? That's
just our house bills. So we paid off all our credit cards, and luckily our 401ks are both doing very well. So if we have to tap into anything, we have 401ks, we have savings accounts. So mainly, well, not mainly, but also because our big wedding got postponed until whenever our state opens back up, which might not even happen because we got married anyway. So, we just have a very lofty savings account that allows us to kind of gallivant as we like. So
it's amazing
That's
how
the
things
best.
like that
That's
work
when
out.
it really is truly a blessing, when you look at it. So
Yeah.
a lot of people ask me, hey,
And when you lay
is
your head
Brandon-
on the pillow every night, knowing that you have that money.
well, I know if the wedding doesn't go next year, that money will be it's not spent, but there's plans for it in terms of house renovations that my wife would love to do. So it's nice to have it there and know that God forbid anything happens in terms of I get sick, she gets sick. We have multiple sources that we can tap into. So
Fuck the wedding. You don't need a wedding. You're married.
you know what? We did it with 25 people. It was just our parents and then our bridal party, which she's one of 6 girls. So it was mostly her sisters and then a few of my
Are
groomsmen.
they hot?
Well,
What's wrong with you? What's the matter? What's the matter with you? You're
What?
the
It's
dirty old
fine.
guy. You're the dirty old
Free
man.
Just
drinks.
asking.
I
It's
mean,
just a
what's the-
question.
He's at his
Yeah.
drink number.
So,
they're a
three
very good looking
in. That's
family.
just-
I'll leave it at that.
All right. I mean, I got some
Tyler,
single
your-
friends. There's
your
people that
your
are out
question
there.
a minute ago about Lieutenant Brandon, I mean,
Oh, so he's
It's coming
exactly where
back
you
out?
should be.
right, exactly.
Podcasting to 25 people.
Right. And now, you remember when we were in the club or in the bar and you'd see that 45-year-old dude and you'd be like, who's old balls? Here,
Yeah.
that's you now, right?
Who's Graybeard?
Yeah, exactly.
Going for number 4.
So you're from Tampa, so you're familiar with Hyde Park.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
where we lived when
We
we were
lived
first
there.
roommates.
That's like
we
I
lived
feel
there.
like the old man. I don't go down there, especially on the weekends.
We lived right in the post Hyde Park, right
Yep, that's where I
above
lived when I
Harper
moved
Image.
here. Yep.
Yeah, that's where Brendan and I lived when we were second lieutenants. So
We opened that place, so it
Oh my
just opened
gosh.
up, and we got the first.
Yeah.
Nobody had lived in it yet. It
Yep,
smelled
brand
new.
new. Do you remember going to that gym that we went to that Joe Redner
It was
owned?
called Stripper Gym.
Yeah, 'cause Joe.
You know what it
Redner
is now?
the guy that owns Mons Venus, and so we'd go at like 2:00 in the afternoon, and it was just a wall of ass. I mean, the stair steppers and stuff. I mean, it was those strippers would wake up at noon, they'd go work out at 2 and go to work at 5 or 6 in the.
He owned
was-
their entire day.
We're
No, he
second
didn't.
You
lieutenant.
definitely
like
had
a
a set
vertical
schedule for that
integration or
gym.
whatever.
What? This is craziness.
Yeah.
What? And I'm hanging out with this guy.
Yeah, we're 22, 23. I think, what are you, a
Jeez.
couple years older than me? Yeah, we're
Right.
23, somewhere in there on
Yeah.
average. And it was trying to run on Bayshore. If anybody's been to Tampa, I think you know what we're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's right on the bay there. It's like this running path, and it was disgusting.
Mhm.
So many accidents happen on that road because you're
Shirts-
like
shirts
getting
off.
whiplash as you're looking at the talent
yeah.
running down the street.
Absolutely. Oh, you talk? Yeah, we were the
No,
talent.
not talking about
Tyler.
you, Brandon. You're not the talent that he's
We were the-
checking out.
Hey,
But
dude,
I'm
nobody
just-
I
even
thought-
knows what Abercrombie is anymore, dude.
Yeah.
It's called Hollister now. That's it. That's all it is. You know what? Fuck you, Tyler.
Cargo shorts.
By the way,
You're
Brandon,
distressed.
if you're a bourbon guy, you need to check out 1792 if you haven't.
I have. I had. You know what? I tried to buy a bottle and they wouldn't budge, but it was out of a bar, so that might have been the issue. It was really good.
It is.
I was
That,
surprised how amazing it was.
We also have Oregon Spirit here, which is really yummy as well. So,
Oregon Spirit.
yep, it's a bourbon. If you go to like Total Wine, they'll have it there.
Will they? Okay.
We'll
Well,
look
that's
for
going.
that.
That's going
We
in
have
the show
Total Wine
notes.
here. Yeah.
Melvin, where are you at?
I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Really.
We're like Philly, or like the suburb of Philly.
No, I'm in Philly.
Really?
Yeah. Born and raised.
So I did a.
We're not as
My-
bad as you guys think we are. I know our sports
no,
teams,
Are you kidding me? I love Philly. So when
Okay.
the 76ers were hot, my do you remember?
Iverson days, Eric Snow.
Shep, yeah, Shep. I just dated myself, but Shep, who's our Dave Ramey. Do you remember this name?
Oh yeah, Ramey.
So Dave
Yep.
Ramey, he was an instructor pilot in the Navy. So we went through naval pilot training. And I did a cross country with him to Philly because he's from Philly and he was trying to marry this woman, or he's trying to bang this woman who eventually became his wife. I hope she's listening. And crazy story. So he uses me as a reason to go to Philly, and he tries to convince me, oh no, hey buddy, because it's my cross country. Where do you want to go? I'm like, I don't know. I guess Atlanta. I have a girlfriend in Atlanta, or maybe I don't know,
Miami,
somewhere in Texas. Oh, Miami. I have a girlfriend in Miami. Where? And he goes, how about we go to Philly? I'm like, huh?
Not even New York. What? Philly?
Yeah. Why would the fuck would I go to Philly? I'm like, all right, I got. And he convinced me. And he said, look, you go to Philly, you pass. All right, we're going to Philly.
Fair enough.
Done. That's
So we go to
Navy
Philly.
style right there. Yeah.
Anyway, fast forward, he's married. He actually works for your company there, Melvin. And he, long way to get there. It's a whole nother story. It's a whole nother podcast. But he ends up marrying her, and the rest is history. So it's kind of cool. I
Does
feel
he
like
happen to
I'm
live
part
in
of
the
that.
local area?
I think he does. Yeah, he definitely does. I know he does. Absolutely, he does. Because
He's still
she's
in the
from
military
there.
as well.
He is.
I think I might know who you're
Navy.
talking about. Yeah.
Navy.
Navy? No, I'm thinking Air
He was
Force.
Navy. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? He might be Air Force now because he got out of the Navy and then transitioned to the Air Force Guard there, I think, in PA, if that makes sense, or
Ooh.
reserves, one of the two.
Guy I'm thinking about, he's a full bird colonel out of McGuire.
God, no. I hope he never puts on the chicken. This guy couldn't. No. Great dude.
But
He
no.
was a great pilot, but I don't see him putting the chicken on. Yeah, so I love Philly. He ends up taking me to
Those guys.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah, you were one of them. So they ended up taking me to a Sixers game and like in downtown Philly to see the Roots play.
Nice.
Dude, it was probably the best. Here's the thing: the culmination of my aviation career, Melvin, happened in pilot training. Everything else went downhill from there. Like once I graduated pilot training, downhill from there. Like it was
so you do
worst.
have to put this in context, old man, that
Maybe.
we graduated and 3 months later 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Crazy.
So, I mean,
Crazy.
that
Crazy, yeah.
context of Navy pilot training where we drove our cars up to the C-12 to load our bags.
Yeah, man. It was
And
it
then,
was crazy, man.
I mean, 6 months later, there's fences all the way around the entire airfield, right? So, I mean, totally different concept of the Air Force, the flying that we knew for a year and a half or 2 years growing up.
Yeah.
Versus
What we thought
after
we were going to
9/11.
do when we did a cross country.
I started my Air Force career enlisted, and I was at Shephard Air Force Base. And one of my buddies, he was a couple of classes behind me. I actually graduated my tech school on September 11th. I took my final test, walked out, and watched the buildings hit in the break room. But at that time, you would just drive on the base. As long as you had the sticker in the window, you were good.
Saluting you, good to go, right?
So, well, we were enlisted. We didn't get salutes back then.
Yeah.
But
Oh, really? What does that feel like? I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah, you were the guys that I was pissed off at driving through the base. Like, that gate guard does not want to be standing there. Do not disrespect him. What's wrong with you?
So,
I digress. Yeah,
I digress. So, my buddy was in the dorms, and they were doing reactions and everything. So everybody took all their porn and threw it in the trunk of his car, only to be gate checked. And he had no explanation for it. This is back when you looked at naked girls in magazines, way before like Pornhub and stuff. So
wait. Yeah. They don't do that anymore? Magazines are obsolete?
I don't know. When's the last time you looked at a magazine?
Well, allow me to.
Well, because he's in it. Brandon is probably in it.
I'll be right back. I got my stash.
Right.
All right, maybe not. It's not in that bookshelf. It's in the other room.
Something wrong with that guy.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. You watched. I remember it was happened when I was in processing my first. I think it was in Little Rock, and we saw these. You just looked at the TV and go, "Well, my career just changed." Well, there went that. What we thought was going to be, because we had a great time. You're right. You got to put in perspective and in context, because up until that point, we were zipper suited sky gods, I guess. Right?
Yeah. The world changed, I mean, we were a part of it. So the best thing we can do is impart that knowledge on the next generation and let them know.
Commander, shut up.
I was watching one of these. You were talking about doing a lot of mentoring with younger guys, whatever. I mean,
I'll edit that out. I love it.
Exactly. Right. So I have a joke that, you don't talk about millennials unless you say fucking millennials, I mean,
I thought that was a preparatory command.
Right. It is normally, but
isn't that their first name?
Thing the millennials have is to learn from us.
Yeah,
right?
It's our fault that millennials are millennials.
Exactly. That we need to do more to get them in shape, get them where we need them to be.
And when I say our fault, I'm referring to you guys, because I've got a chocolate lab. I've got no responsibility whatsoever.
I guess technically you are a millennial.
I'm a zennial.
I'm an 84 guy, so.
Are you an 84 guy?
84, baby.
You're a millennial too. You guys are so cute and
I'm not a dog.
I'm kind of at the other end of the spectrum, though. Like, I'm not at the end.
No, don't try to give us the freaking. There's no caveats. You're in there, and it's okay.
I'm the old guy. Wow.
I think you're older than me by a year, 2 years, year and a half.
No, 6 months. 6 months.
I think we're in years or something.
Yeah, I mean when you're talking to me with a mustache and a Zorro goatee thing going on there, that adds about.
So that's why
it's called the Zappa. The Zappa. You don't know. Nobody remembers who Zappa was.
You call it whatever you want. I call it disgusting. That is, I mean, I cannot believe.
That's not what your wife calls it.
Yeah. How about your wife? What does your wife call it? Yeah.
My girl calls it a roller coaster ride.
Mm.
And there you have it. That just got weird. So, and I'm not going to edit that out. There you have it. Furlough Friday 20 the wrap. So I appreciate you guys coming out. Jason, Shephard, Melvin Jefferson. We won't.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
we won't forget you. We actually gonna want you back on, especially Shep's got some stories to tell Tyler, so I think he's gonna want to press you for those.
Yeah, we
yep.
And hey man, like bros before this guy. I don't know.
Dude, it is on like Donkey Kong.
All right, we're gonna have you back on for sure, a brother Absolutely. From another mother.
Yeah. Yep.
But thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Furlough Friday 20.
Good to see you all.
See you, fellas.
Guys. All right, Melvin. Appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate you.